Welcome everyone, this is Zozo Stockwatch, and let's get ready for the week ahead, November 6th through November 10th. So another kind of uneventful week. The markets just continued to grind up, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the markets. The SPY was up fractionally. This is a daily chart that you're looking at. If we look at it on the weekly, we're still above the 10 SMA on the SPY. The daily chart just grinding up above the fast moving averages. If we go ahead and look at the QQQ, which were much stronger, with likes of Apple earnings coming out this week. So Apple pushing the QQQ up and also pushing up the Dow Jones Industrials. And you see the Dow Jones Industrials holding this 5 EMA. The biggest pullback has been about to the, a little below the 10 SMA on the Dow Jones 30. So continues up, continues to grind up. Tax talk in the air, corporate tax cuts, whatnot. North Korea has kind of quieted down a little bit, so hasn't been as much on the front burner. So the markets take that as a go. And Friday we had the jobs number come out on Friday, and the numbers were good. Wages did not grow rapidly, so that keeps the Fed maybe on the back burner or not having to raise rates that quickly. I think the next Fed meeting is coming up in December, and I think most think that they're supposed to raise rates a quarter of a point in December. So we'll see. If we go ahead and look at the IBB, that didn't fare as far as on the daily chart this week, as well as the other markets, but we are holding above this 310 spot, and you see my 150 SMA here, the orange dotted line. We are holding that, and Friday we had a low of 311.53, so we held that a few times. So you have to watch that 311 area, 311.50 for the IBB, but we are trying to get back over the 10 SMA. If we look at it on the weekly chart, you see we came up to that resistance there around that 341 spot, pulling back and trying to hold above, the 150 SMA here on the weekly chart. So that's the IBB, which was the weakest out of the markets. If we go ahead and look at the IWM on the weekly chart, we're holding above the 10 SMA. And on the daily, we are holding above this 147.50 spot on the IWM. On the IWC, the micro caps, we are trying to hold this 93 spot. We are holding above the 50 SMA. And if we look at that on the weekly, we're still holding above the 10 SMA on the weekly chart. Like we said, the IYT coming down to the 10 SMA. That's the transports, the IYT. And still above the 50 SMA on the daily chart, so that's the IYT. OIH starting to move up above the 50 SMA and trying to get up over that 25 spot on the OIH. And if we look at it on the weekly chart, you see we're holding above the 10 SMA now on the OIH, and that's such names as Halliburton, Rig, and Schlumberger, which is kind of the laggard right now. Schlumberger kind of lagging the other, Halliburton back over the 50. Rig actually stronger than Schlumberger right now, basing under that 11 spot. And Schlumberger unable to get above the 5 EMA on this daily chart, the yellow dotted line that you see right here on Schlumberger. Let's go ahead and take a look at the USO, which for the week was up 3% for the week. For the day on Friday was up 1.7% for the day on Friday. If we look at it on the weekly chart, and on the weekly chart, looks like, we are breaking out. We're over that 11 spot, over that 1075 spot, and then back to the daily chart, nice grind up here and pushing and holding on to the 5 EMA. If we go ahead and look at oil itself, the WTI crude oil, light sweet crude, we are back above that $55 a barrel number here at 55.64, and after the breakout, nice push up. Also on the weekly, breaking out over that resistance here and it looks like it has at least a good run, maybe up to the 200 on the weekly chart here, which is at around 59.02 on the weekly chart. So we'll see if that's going to transpire with light sweet crude oil. We'll go ahead and look at the VIX. As you can imagine, with the market moving up, VIX closing, came down as low as 899 on the VIX. So just full complacency out there right now. We had a previous low on the VIX of 884 back in August. And let's see if there was any other lows. Right here, we had a low of 913. So, we're getting down there again to the lows, and we'll see if something's going to happen that wants to turn the VIX around. But right now, just a lot of complacency in the markets. If we go ahead and take a look at, some of the fear things that would move up, such as the GLD. Gold right now on the daily chart, basically, holding around this 120 spot on GLD, but not much of a, move here right now. We had this shadow candle here, then we pushed back down. We still are holding above the 200 SMA, but really not going much, not getting anywhere on the GLD, and on the weekly, we're still below the 10 SMA. I think that has a lot to do with Bitcoin also. I think people are, instead of playing gold, they're playing Bitcoin. That's what it seems like to me. If we go ahead and look at silver, pretty much basically under the 200 SMA on the weekly chart. If we look at it on the daily chart, we are still, holding below that 1625 spot, but trying to hold this 100 SMA, the white line you see right here on silver. So we'll see on that. The other indices, things that we can look at, Robo just climbing, continue to grind up on Robo, nice move up again. This has NVIDIA in it, so it's a nice push up there. Bots also holding above the fast moving average. Artificial intelligence ETF, and that is just grinding up right now. If we go ahead and look at a quick look at copper, we are back below the 10 SMA on the daily. On the weekly chart, though, we're still above the 10 SMA on the copper ETF. What's not faring so well is JETS. This is the U.S. airline ETF, and as you can see, we're below the 200 200 SMA on the daily chart here for JETS. And if we look at it on the weekly chart, we're holding around that 50 SMA on the weekly chart for JETS, but you see the weakness that we've had in the airlines. Next, we'll look at SOCL, social, Facebook, Twitter, make up this one, Snapchat, etc. So right now for social, we are back above the 5 EMA, holding above the fast moving averages. So SOCL still looking good. If we look at steel ETF, currently we're below the 10 SMA on that. Such names as US Steel, STLD, AKS, and TMST, ZEUS. So you see all of these have kind of retraced and given back their names in the steel stocks. Let's go ahead and look at some of ETFs, and we'll go ahead and start with the taking a look at the XLY, and that didn't fare as well this week. You can see that was down for the week. Consumer staples up slightly for the week. XLE Energy, big pop this week in the energy name ETF XLE. Basically neutral on the XLF. XLV to the red, XLI to the red, XLB to the red. XLK green, very green, and XLU up a little bit for the S&P 500 spiders this week. And for the XLY, if we go ahead and take a look at that one, on the daily chart, XLY, kind of trying to get back over the 5 EMA. And in the XLY, some of the holdings in there are Amazon, Home Depot, Disney, McDonald's, names like that. That's in the XLY Consumer Discretion ETF. CMCSA is another holding in that. Starbucks and Netflix also are holdings within the XLY. Priceline is also in there, and they have earnings on Monday. So that's some of the names that make up the XLY. In the XLP, which didn't fare so well this week in the XLP, the consumer staples. All right, and that's such names as Procter and Gamble, KO, Pepsi, also Altira Group, holding the 50. Walmart is in that, and Costco is another name that's in that. And Costco making a nice comeback. So Costco pushing up, and Walmart pushing up, as you saw before. Some other names that are in the consumer staples: CVS, not faring as well. Mondelez is also in that ETF, and CL Colgate Palmolive, which basically has been in a downtrend on that. If we go ahead and look at the XLE, which was very strong for the week, we have such names as ExxonMobil, CVX. So I'll go ahead and type those in: ExxonMobil, CVX. That two oil stocks moving down. Schlumberger, COP, nice climb there on ConocoPhillips. Halliburton, like we said, was strong. PSX, which is a refiner, nice pop in that. And VLO also grinding to new highs. And HFC, which is also an oil refiner. Nice pop there in HFC. KMI, Kinder Morgan, not faring as well. That makes up one of the holdings in the XLE. In the XLI, that one is basing below the 10 SMA and some of the fast moving averages, and some of the holdings in there: Boeing, 3M, Honeywell, General Electric, which is trying to recover here, trying to hold above that 20 spot on General Electric, but a big drawdown on the XLI. Also in that ETF, we have UTX, Caterpillar, and UPS is in there. All right, so that's some of the names in the XLI. Next one up, we'll take a look at the XLF, and that's the financials. And we're trying to get back above that 27 spot on the XLF, holding above the fast moving averages. And you know the names that are in here: JP Morgan, Berkshire Hathaway, Bank America, WFC, Wells Fargo, USB. Also, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, and American Express are just some of the holdings that are in the XLF. Next one we'll look at is the XLB. All right, and for the week, that was down fractionally, but holding above the 20 SMA on the XLB. And this is the materials sector. Monsanto is one of the holdings there. PX, SHW, LYB. Very strong, nice pop there off of the 10 SMA on LYB, PPG, IP, or other names that are in there. NEM, Newmont Mining, also within that, and SHW, Sherman-Williams, trying to break out over that 400 spot on Sherman-Williams. Next and last one we'll look at is the XLU. And for the week, it was up fractionally for the week. And that's such names as, Duke Energy, Con Edison, SO, AEP, Dominion, and AEP, American Electric Power. So those are some of the names that make up the XLU. So that's kind of a brief look at some of the spiders. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have coming for us in up in store for us. Sorry, coming in store for us for the week ahead. We have William Dudley speaking on Monday. That's about the only economic information coming out for Monday. Kind of a quiet day. And then we have Tuesday. We have 8:30 Gallup. Not really much market moving economic information coming out that day. API crude numbers at 4:30. Wednesday we have 10:30 the oil numbers coming out, EIA petroleum numbers, and not too much after that. Some numbers coming out from China on Wednesday night. Also, we have some numbers coming out Thursday. Initial jobless claims, 10 o'clock wholesale trade, 10:30 nat gas, and then Friday consumer sentiment, Baker Hughes rig count at 1 o'clock. And that's pretty much it. So kind of slow economically, not much Fed speak. So economically, we're kind of slow, so that's kind of good. And this I showed you already. That was the movement in the S&P 500 spiders. And we'll go ahead and take a look at what earnings are coming up. And still, we're in the height of earnings season right now. So Monday before the open, we have such names as CVS, Cisco, and that's the Cisco, the food, SYY, not Cisco, CSCO. Mylan will be reporting. Cardinal Health also Monday before the open. Then after the bell, Monday, Priceline, Skyworks, Etsy, GoDaddy. We also have on Tuesday before, we have Valiant, VRX. Let's see if there's anything else. Emerson. And then after the close Tuesday, Snap, SNAP. A lot of people will be watching that earnings report. Marriott, Zynga. And then Wednesday before the open, Plug Power, Humana, Wix, Wendy's, some of the names for Wednesday before the open. After the close, Square, SQ symbol there, Twilio, TWLO symbol there. And let's see, that's pretty much it. Oh, Monster, MNST will also be reporting after the close on Wednesday. Before the open on Thursday, we have Macy's, HIMX, Kohl's, KSS, Canadian Solar, which is the CSIQ, and Coty, COTY, Office Depot, Hertz after the bell, Organovo, Walt Disney, Disney Company, NVIDIA after the bell on Thursday. That'll definitely be watched. NVIDIA, Hertz, and then Friday, JCPenney, and that's the biggest one I think for Friday, JCPenney. So there's some of your earnings coming out for the week of November 6th through November 10th. So I'll leave that up for a second if you want to take a snapshot of that. And that's pretty much it for your earnings for the week. And lastly, we'll keep this one short and sweet. Lastly, I'll look at the SMH on the daily chart. You see it's grinding to new highs. We have the weekly chart just keeps pushing up on the SMH. And then, don't forget Qualcomm now. Some takeover rumors on Qualcomm by Broadcom AVGO. Rumored to be thinking about taking over Qualcomm, so big push in both of those this week. And I guess lastly, we'll kind of look at some of the ETFs that I missed. Hack, really not doing much. Hack, such names as FireEye and Palo Alto Networks. That's probably the strongest one in the group. FTNT, Cyber. But all those pretty much not doing too much this week, and CUDA, as you can see, kind of moving down. So that's the hack ETF, the cybersecurity. And I think that's about it. Oh, TAN. We'll take a look at TAN, the solar, and First Solar very strong this week. Nice push up there in First Solar. And then the other ones, such names as CSIQ, very strong. SPWR, starting to make a little bit of a turnaround here on SPWR. So nice pop there, and some of those solar names for TAN. And let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to look at. I don't think so. Oh, UNG. We didn't look at UNG. Really not doing too much yet on UNG. USO obviously stronger. And the dollar right now. Take a look at that. Coming up off the bottom here on the dollar. We'll see if it can break out over that 95 spot on the US dollar. So I'm going to leave it there. That's it for the Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead. You're more ready for the week ahead than you were before. And I'll be back with a stocks to watch video on Sunday. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for hitting the like button. And also, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button.